that there was no lease from the villa. None whatsoever. Number two, we are also not pretending about the fact that we have two arms of government being controlled by the same ruling party. We can't pretend about that. In any civilized democracy in the world, the party, and by extension, those the party has put in government, in all arms of government, will show interest in those who lead the parliament. Our own democracy is fashioned after that of the United States as a matter of certainty and as a matter of clarity. The vice president of the country in the U.S. is even the president of the Senate. That is the extent of their involvement. And Section 60 of our own Constitution here is clear, because our forefathers and the writers of our Constitution felt, yes, even though we are modeling our own democracy after that of the United States, we should still have our own special brand of democracy. So they said in Section 60 that senators shall appoint from among themselves. From among themselves. In other words, no vice president is coming to preside over us. No other person is coming from any other arm of government. That is a greater measure of independence than even having the advanced democracies. So, if the party is showing interest, because again, our rules say it is the parties that will nominate. And when you say the party, the president of the country is the leader of the party. Is the leader of the party. So if you are talking of a political party, you talk about the structures of the party. That's why you have the National Working Committee of the party, who are the people who are saddled with the day-to-day responsibility of managing the party. And then you have the neck of the party, the National Executive Council or Committee of the party, which takes broader decisions. And then you have at the apex the president of the country as the leader of the party. So sometimes it's a matter of semantics when we say the party. And we're not going to run away from the truth. We are not going to do any propaganda. We are going to adopt a simple, believable style of information management, which is what will make it possible for us to be able to say something and stand by it, and we can defend whatever we are saying or whatever we are doing, rather than having to look for how to cover up on what we said before. So, one, again, I clarified, there was no list from the villa, and two, the list of the people whose names were announced today was a list of agreements reached by stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, it's broad. The leadership of the party, the leadership of those who are already elected into government, the rank and file members of the party, and, byproduct of even security, serious security background check and all that. So it's a consensus list based on stakeholders. So it's our own decision.
So I think we put on the question so that
no, it's okay.
Respond to them.
It's okay, sir.
Okay,
just one.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable.
I am Henry Moro. I report for Canada. With what we have seen today, it's like a new template in announcing principal officers. Because what we used to see or have is a letter signed by either the secretary of the party or the chairman of the party signing, and the president of the Senate will read the letter. We are seeing a new template. How much of the same are you with the National Working Committee, the same page? Because as your national chairman is meeting with the governors now, he has disowned the list that he is not aware of it. What is your take, sir?
Well, let me. Okay. with respect to APC, let me put it this way: everything is in order, and let me assure you again, what was read today was a consensus list. Please look through even media reports again and see the names of people who were in Kefi on Sunday to finalize discussions and report or present themselves to the national chairman of the party. You see that it was exactly the names of people who were announced today. Check also behind further reports to see the names and pictures of those who also reported themselves in Lagos to Mr. President during the Salah homage. You see that is the leadership of the Senate just as espoused today. All stakeholders are on the same page on this, and events in the next few hours or days can only go to confirm this. Virtually all relevant stakeholders are in a meeting as we speak, and the leadership of the National Assembly will also be joining them at the meeting. So there's really no real controversy in this regard. Let me assure you of that. And with respect to minority parties, again, gentlemen of the press, let me emphasize, it's an unusual situation. And it shows, again, the growth of our democracy and the dynamics, of our polity. Votes of Nigerians are beginning to count more than ever before. And we are beginning to see a situation where no political party again can say or boast that even if we bring a goat, the goat will win, as we used to hear in the past. Today we have a situation where 7 political parties are the vehicles through which people came to the Senate. Of course, once you step into the red chamber, you are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as we always say. It will not matter which party brought you. But for the purpose of constituting the leadership, our rules still recognize the fact that our political parties will have a role to play. So, if you have 6 minority parties acting as vehicles that brought people to the Senate, and you're now looking for a letter, which of the parties will now write a letter? It doesn't matter how many people are in PDP. It remains a minority party, just like YPP or ABGA with only one senator who came in on that vehicle or on that platform. Basically, what was most important, what was more democratic, was for all 50 of them to meet as minorities and take their decisions. They had some meetings that were deadlocked, and it wasn't for us to look into what they were doing. We had enough to be concerned about as a majority party. It was their own decision. And they took their decisions. And like I said, 38 people signed their full names, their signature, the constituency that they represent. They put it there. That carries more weight. If PDP had written, Labour Party would have dissociated itself from it. If Labour Party had written, NNPP would have dissociated itself. If NNP had written, ABGA might have dissociated itself. And look at the leadership that they produced. Minority leader is from PDP that has the majority of members, 36 members. Then, of course, the deputy minority leader is also of PDP. All right? PDP. So, PDP has 2. Minority whip is of Labour Party. And deputy whip is deputy minority whip is of NNPP. So definitely, as far as we are concerned, it's representative enough, it's democratic, but the news for us is that 38 of them took that decision. Minority will always have their way, minority will always have their say, but the majority would have their way. Minority had their say to the extent that the Senate even had to be stood down for an executive session for them to have all their say. And when the Senate reconvened in plenary session, the majority had their way, and those names were announced. So we are on course. What?